Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in SimWorks Studios Vans RV-14A. We have a 28 nautical mile flight from Sierra Delta Mike Brownfield Municipal to Romeo November Mike Ramona. We'll be navigating the San Diego Bravo and we'll be using VFR flyways to do it. It should be an awesome and fun flight. Alright, we're sitting here in the Vans RV-14A, which looks incredible. I've got my buddy Floyd sitting in the co-pilot seat as always, and our field is freeware by V. Basilio from flightsim.to. He also made Ramona, which we are flying to, and many of the airports here in San Diego. So before we get started, let's just look at the detail. Check out the fans here and the wires coming off of them, and you can look up and see the LED strip and the wire coming off of it. Just great attention to detail. In the back here, we've got configurable cargo based on the weight that you set there. Overhead, we'll reach up and grab the canopy handle, pull that down. We've got a sunshade, pull that up, and that didn't quite go all the way forward, so let's pull that back. Try this one more time. There we go. And next we've got to lock the canopy in place. That's the lever over here on the left. That all looks good. I'm using TrackIR like I did in my last video. This is a new acquisition for me and it's awesome to be able to look around the aircraft. Looking down here, all the circuit breakers are in and they work. You can push those and pop them out if you want to. All of our switches are off. We'll get the prop to full forward and turn the fuel selector to the left tank. And let's make sure that we are still clear. Everything looks good. So head back down here and we'll turn the master on. We've got an avionics battery, so we'll turn that on. So we've got a glass cockpit here. We've got to get at least the primary display on to see what's going on when we start up the engine. Next, we'll get the fuel pump on, bring the mixture into full rich. Mixture to cut off, fuel pump off, crack the throttle 1/8 of an inch, and we'll also crack the mixture a little bit. Now normally on something like a Skyhawk you'd turn on the beacon to let people know you're going to start the engine. There's no beacon here, so instead let's turn on the strobes just to let everybody know we're about to start. There we go, strobes are on. And we'll pop back up, look around, make sure everything's clear. We'll call clear prop. And we've got ignition. Let's bring in the mixture. And we've got oil pressure, so that looks good. Next we can get on the alternator. It's the switch on the left there. And we can bring on the avionics. There we go. Now that we're all started up, we can turn off the strobes. We're not blinding people here on the ramp, and instead we'll turn on the taxi light. Alright, everything looks good to go. So we are running with the GTN 750, which is courtesy of the freeware PMS 520 plugin. So we've got to put in our departure and destination airports, and then add in our flight plan. While we are typing that all in, I'll open up Foreflight and take you through the brief. So if we start with the sectional, you can see all of the blue of the San Diego Bravo. We are starting at the south here at Brownfield, heading north, and the Bravo starts at 3,500. Then you've got a Delta that's underneath the Bravo that goes up to 2,400. Then the Bravo's at 3,800, 4,800 until you get to Ramona, which is itself a Delta that goes up to 3,800. Now if we toggle over to the VFR flyway map, we can see the cheat sheet or the shortcut that will take us through the Bravo without needing to get a Bravo clearance. And that's what these blue lines are that have 4,500 or below or 3,500 or below. So on departure from Brownfield, we're going to head to a VFR reporting point, which is Lower Otay Lake, which is VPSOT. That's an actual GPS waypoint we can put in. Next, we'll fly east of San Miguel Mountain and Sweetwater Reservoir. We should be able to easily see both of those from the air. Continue on north. We're going to pass Gillespie Field. On our left, we'll be overflying their airspace. Our next waypoint is San Vicente Island. That'll be on the left. And then we'll continue north, enter the valley that's just past Iron Mountain, which is where Ramona is. Ramona is a delta. It goes up to 3,800, and you see that there's a minus in front of it, so it doesn't include 3,800 because that's where the Bravo starts on one of the earlier shelves. In the background, I'm streaming liveatc.net for Brownfield, so it's the actual ATC for this field. And it's interesting because we are very close to the border, so some of the exchanges are in Spanish. Brownfield ground, Vans 714 Victor Alpha, located at FBO with information India. Request taxi for north departure. Taxi and hold short, runway 8 left via Gulf Alpha, Vans 714 Victor Alpha. Alright, we'll release the parking brake, and when I say release the parking brake, I mean take my feet off the brakes because I cannot figure out where the parking brake release is in this aircraft, so if you know, please let me know. But here we go, and the Vans RV-14 has a free castering nose wheel, which, as I'm taxiing here on the ground, works pretty well. I can just use my rudder pedals to steer left and right. It has a lot of lag to it, so you need to sort of anticipate where you want to go next and start turning before you get to that point. I am amazed at the quality of these freeware San Diego airports that V Basilio has crafted. Check out the links in the video details if you would like to download these too. Okay, we're going to stop up here at the hold short lines and just do our run up right here. Okay, we've got our feet on the brakes. Head down and get the mixture to full rich for the run up. And first we'll verify our flight controls, and with TrackIR I can actually look around and really verify the flight controls. So elevator up, there it is, elevator down, left aileron down, left aileron up, right aileron, a little hard to see, excuse me Floyd, down, right aileron up. Head back down here and we'll get our throttle in for our mag check. While we're doing that, I'll give you an update on my real-life flight lesson. So I'm trying to get my simulated instrument time in, and we did that this past Wednesday, doing unusual attitude recovery. You can see my instructor having a lot of fun while I have my eyes closed while he takes the plane through a bunch of crazy maneuvers and puts us in an unusual attitude. And then I need to recover from it quickly, except I'm wearing goggles, so I can't see anything but the instruments. So it added a whole new level of complexity when you can't see anything at all except for what's on the panel, and you have to deduce which way the plane's going. We were rewarded with a really nice approach at sunset as we came back into our home field. Of course, I was still wearing goggles, so I could not actually see it, but I did get to see it in the video after the flight. It was another crazy windy day, so we didn't get to do the soft and short field landings that we wanted to work on, but I've got another shot coming up on Monday. Alright, back into our Vans, so we're done with the mag check and the run-up. I've turned on the wig-wag lights, which are pulsing the landing lights. I'm not sure if that's a Vans-specific thing. First time I've seen that. Brownfield Tower, Vans 714 Victor Alpha, holding short, runway 8 left. Cleared for departure, runway 8 left, Vans 417 Victor Alpha. Alright, game on! So far I am really enjoying the Vans aircraft. The model has just fantastic detail, it's very configurable, and it's really fun just to handle on the ground. Based on the way it's steering on the ground, I think it's going to handle a lot like a real aircraft in the air. So I'm looking forward to it. Vans are kit aircrafts. It's kind of cool to think that you can basically buy a mail order airplane and assemble it if you've got a large garage over the course of a few years. Being that I always seem to have extra nuts, bolts, and screws left over whenever I assemble anything, I don't think I would trust myself to assemble my own aircraft, but it's still kind of a cool idea. Alright, we're coming up on rotate speed here, and it's getting a little squirrely. I think I should have rotated maybe 5 knots earlier, but we are up. And once again, I love being able to look around with head tracking and see the field, see which way I'm going to go when I get ready to make my turn. And this aircraft is fast. If anything, I'm climbing with too high of an airspeed. I need to pitch up my nose even more. Check our altitude, and we're getting ready to make our left turn. You can see our first visual waypoint just off to the left there at the 10 o'clock position. So that is our lake that we're shooting for, Lower Lake HOTAS. And we're going to roll out with the nose pointed right at it. We've just passed our first waypoint, so next we'll be looking for San Miguel Mountain and Sweetwater Reservoir. We're on track, so let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery. Alright, as predicted, the Vans was a blast to fly. I really love this airplane, and it's definitely worth it. I got it on sale, so it was a steal. It was fun continuing our San Diego Odyssey flying under the Bravo with VFR flyways, so it's very cool that you can fly this airspace basically without talking to anybody. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.